Okay, so like I said, this weighted average has several different ways you can do these problems. But basically, you're needing to find the average of something when different pieces of it have different, for lack of a better word, weights. Okay, so you're having to find the average when different components. And of course, this is how you do your 6 weeks grades. But we find out other things. We do them in other ways as well. So let's take a look at this first one. This one is just like how you do your homework. You do your grade in this class, or in your classes when they have different weights. So here's an AP Biology. Now this table is given to us for organization. I usually don't do that whenever I read a problem, but we'll go ahead and show that here. So this tells us that our tests are weighted 50% of the grade, and the midterm is 15%. So put all those percentages in with a final of 20, lab of 10, and homework 5. And then we're given the average score that occurs in each one of those weights, in each one of those categories. So 86 test average and a 96 on the midterm, 82 on the final, 98 lab, and 100 homework. So based on that and based on maybe how you've done your grades in the past, how do you then determine your overall grade average? Good. So you're going to be multiplying those together and summing them up, because these will together make up the 100% of the grade. Okay? So that's why I typically don't use the table. I just go straight to the 50% times 86 plus your 15% times 96. So this is a pretty straightforward one that we're used to. And it's because we got all those percentages and so on. So I'm pretty sure you can do the arithmetic there. So I'll tell you that the grade average that comes out is 88.6 whenever you do that calculation. So that'd be the average, which probably I guess would average round up to 89. Okay, but let's take a look at this next one. Here we have one that's a little different. It's not just your grade that we're talking about. We have a company that has starting salaries based on the degree that the employees have, doctorate, master's, and bachelor's. And so I'm going to even just go past doing the table on this because I kind of find it redundant. So how would you then come up with the total salary or total amount of money that the company's paying out? How would we do that? Total amount of money the company's paying out. Good. 2 of the $105,000 salaries plus 7 of the $63,000 salaries plus 11 of the $41,000 salaries. And so then that's going to give the total amount that the company is putting out, giving out in terms of salaries. But we want to know the average starting salaries for these employees. So how do I get the average of that? Yeah, we're going to take that and divide it by how many salaries there are. And that will give us that overall average. Okay, so we're dividing by 20 to get the overall average. Okay, so that's the basic format. But I want to tell you a way that I've seen this more likely to appear to you. More frequently, I'll get this kind of question. There we go. Where we're asked something like this. We'll say you have got 2 doctoral salaries, 7 master's salaries, and 11 of the bachelor's salaries, and the company is giving out an average of, say, $55,000 per employee. Okay? So $55,000 as an average starting salary. So this is a more common way that I've seen this asked in the upper levels of the grading. So then in that case, here you are solving for something in there in the type of salary. Okay, so you are given this total average. All right, so be aware of that when you read through problems, that you might be making a formula such as that and then solving algebraically from there. Okay? All right, so what I want to do is have you work on these two problems, example 3 and example 4, and I'm actually going to... So we did the 2 different cameras. This threw me off at first when I did this one. I was like, okay, 8 out of 10. So I ended up just going ahead and making it times 8 and then times 6. I guess they were all out of 10. So I just kept those as my whole numbers. And so when I did those percentages times their values for the first camera, I got a 7.2 average rating. And then for the Conan one, I got a 6.9 average rating. So then, of course, which would be the better camera he should choose? Whatever this Sony one is, okay? Now, when we take a look at this problem, we got to find out the average number of days per week. So if we're thinking days per week, that also kind of helps us know what we got to do. So I totaled up the days. 2 weeks he worked 1 day, 14 days 2 days, so on and so forth. So he worked a total of 294 days over that time period. But what's missing here? How many weeks I'm going to be averaging that over? So when I totaled that up, then I got my 56 weeks. So that's how I knew it was, 5.25? Is that the average? Okay, 5.25 days per week on average. Okay? All right, very good. So I wanted to then finalize this by saying, of course, our homework is page 46. 47 is kind of some bonus problems you do not have to do. I will mention on this first problem here, it doesn't give any weight. Since this problem gives no weight, I figured that each one of these scores was equally weighted. So if they're not going to tell me how they're weighted, I figured they were equally weighted. Okay, and so there's that, and then there's your page 47. Had those 2 ones. I actually found problem number 6 harder than number 7. I think 7's pretty straightforward. And then, of course, your multiple choice pages that you're doing, pages 48 to 52. So there's your homework. 46 and 47, multiple choice. Okay, so that's all the instruction I wanted to give you. So we're kind of done with that then.